I'm good.
Perfect. Perfect. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in like a really far northern part of California. Like I'm like 5 hours north of San Francisco and
Oh, okay.
closer to Oregon than anywhere else. And I'm like geographically Pacific Northwest, but I'm still in California.
Okay.
So we get like that weather.
Right. Yeah, that's the cool thing. California, you can hit like pretty much every part of the climate over there.
Yeah. I I like the part that we're in. We get some pretty rough earthquakes, but I like the area. It's pretty cool.
How long you
And
been out there now?
so I moved out to California from Ohio um in 2019 at like the beginning of the year. We did Japan and went over there with Vamakara and Loyal to the Grave. And we did that was like the middle of the month, so I came back and the jet lag helped me quite a bit. I got in my car on a Wednesday at like 1 p.m., started driving, got into like the Bay Area, and I went the long way down through Texas because I didn't want to go through the Rockies in January. And I got there Friday at like 5 in the morning. I stopped and slept for like 4 hours. That was about it. Just
Oh shit.
hammered through. But yeah, so I moved down there in 2019, and then COVID happened, and very quickly we got sick of being in the Bay Area, and everything was like it was crazy. We were, like you'd go to Costco and everybody has to like you're waiting in line with a cart and everyone's masked up, and you're like, I'm in hell. I'm in hell.
Yeah.
And my wife's family is all from up here, and we are just like, you know what, let's get the hell out of here. And so we've lived in this house for like 5 years now.
Awesome. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Columbus, you weren't far from us.
No, Columbus.
We're Ohio Michigan border, him and I. So
Nice. I always
I
make
mean,
the
it's further than it sounds, right? There was like 4 hours or something.
yeah, like I think it's like 4 hours to Detroit, which isn't that much further from the border.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's I always made the joke back in the day, like 'cause there was the battle for Toledo,
Yeah.
and I always say like we lost because we got it.
Right.
Like that whole town is made of rust and old bricks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No
definitely.
offense to anybody from Toledo, I love you.
Right, right. They're all on here. Yeah, Toledo, man, that's venue wise, I feel like we used to have all kinds of cool spots in Toledo, like early on. Like, a matter of fact, like early Acacia strain, um, probably like the Dead Walk tour days. I seen them at it was like Club Bijou. It was in
Yeah,
downtown Toledo. Do you remember that place?
yeah. I've pretty much. I think I played Bijou and headliners with Acacia Strain, and before that with like Oceano, and then I was in a band Rose Funeral for a little while, and then my band 1931 from Columbus played
Okay.
Vamps, uh, headliners, Bijou, Frankie's.
Yeah, Frankie's is still going.
Yeah, there's
I
I'm
miss
trying to
Vance. I really like Vance.
and
Remember
then
seeing
yeah, Vamps was cool,
remember seeing Premonitions of War there and
awesome.
with Nate Johnson and yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, I actually in 2007 my band played a fest of very poorly organized fest in I want to say Westland, Michigan,
Oh yeah.
called Gore Fest, and nobody got paid. It was a bad show, but Premonitions played, and they found out like right before they played that they weren't going to get paid. So Nate Johnson is like throwing monitors into the crowd.
Oh my
He threw
god.
like the microphone up in the ceiling, and this is like a VFW hall. Somebody that came with him like lit the girls' restroom on fire.
Oh my
Another guy
God.
with another guy with the band like punched the sound guy because he was like trying to stop him, and it was like they all got arrested. And I'm like, I didn't see anything. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
And
Yeah, Westland had a little bit of a scene that we there used to be Skateland West, which is
Yeah.
literally just a roller rink, and
Uh-huh.
um,
There, yeah,
trying
our
to
old
think. You
we had a
go
we had a
ahead.
booking agent that was from that area.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, but this is years ago. I don't know or care what has happened to this guy because he really screwed us over. But a guy, Ryan Hitkowski, I don't know if you ever knew that
Oh,
guy back in the day, but he booked us
no.
a full U.S. tour, and we played in Bakersfield, California, which is Southern California. And with no day off, he had us driving from Bakersfield to San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and we played an early show in Bakersfield. And we got out of there at like 1 p.m. and drove straight to San Antonio and got there the next day, like right before we had to go on in the evening. And the show had like 3 people paid.
No.
It's not worth the drive. Juice not
Oh,
worth the squeeze.
yeah, that's horrible. Like it's one thing, like I remember just like local band days, and you have, I'm gonna put in quotes, like a promoter. It's
Yeah.
really just some guy that just gathered up some bands and put them at a hall or whatever, and
Oh yeah. Everything was
you
booked over
knew.
MySpace.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
Like every booking agent was just a guy who had like a bunch of contacts on MySpace, and
Yeah, he'd
right.
avoid you the
like
whole show.
occasionally you'd be like, "Hey, can I get your contact list?" And they're like, "Don't you share this with anybody." And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, that's so stupid.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
you're hoarding just MySpace links.
Yeah. I miss the MySpace days though, as far as like layout and stuff. I feel like
Oh yeah, I everybody learned how to code and like
right.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
the MySpace layouts. You're like, people also had businesses where they were like, I'm charging people money to design a layout for them,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and now it's like, there's none of that.
No,
You have,
no.
like we have a website, but I'm not ever like, go to the website. I'm like, here's our Instagram. We're on Spotify. Yeah, whatever.
Right, right.
My friend Bonnie, she's like, "Come on over, I'll make you lasagna." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I go over there. She's like, "Okay, I need your help." And like, I was sitting down for like 4 hours. Like, this is how you do this and this. But yeah, it was different times. Everything was a little bit more tacky back then, but
Yeah,
like it was cool.
yeah, and it's like the bands all had there was all like a look in the era too. Like it varied. Like there was obviously like the kind of like real scene bands, but even the ones that were more like laid back, like everyone was wearing the same kind of stuff, and
Oh yeah.
everyone had the same gear. You'd see like, oh, here's somebody with an Ampeg 810, and then they've got just like a SKB rack with like a sonic maximizer and
That's
a
so true.
Korg rack tuner and whatever head, or
Yes.
like the 5150 with the sonic maximizer and everything in the rack. And I'm like,
Sonic Maximize. I haven't heard anyone say a Sonic Maximizer in a
Oh
while.
yeah.
yeah.
And not a single person could actually tell you what it does.
No.
Anyone
No.
that use it, they're like, oh, well, it adds. I'm like, what? Tell me exactly what it does. Because I know what it does, and it doesn't really do anything cool for your guitar.
Like the
I
guy,
had a 6505 running with a sonic maximizer, and I
Yeah.
could have swore that it was doing something, and it was
It
way too much gear to be carrying around on my own.
yeah, it's a piece of DJ equipment that like separates your like highs, mids, and lows, which is like in a way that is easier to mix in like a live setting or whatever for DJ stuff.
yeah,
For
Right.
guitar sound, it would make it sound different.
yeah.
And when you're at home in your bedroom playing with it, you're like, this sounds cool. Because I think you're able to hear the top end a little bit better without it being shrill.
I think
But
it was. Yeah.
in a live setting, it's not really doing anything that's like really matters. And a lot of the stuff that happens live, it's like who's running sound for you, because you can have
Right.
the best shit in the world and have your stuff dialed, and if the guy doesn't know how to mix, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And
We were
vice
just
versa, you
talking
can have a
about
bunch of
that.
garbage and have an awesome sound guy, and you sound great.
Yeah.
I
I think
remember.
one of the last shows we were talking about sound and being on stage, and they'd be like, "All right, like play, right?" You'd play some, they'd set levels, and then we'd go back and turn our amp up.
Yeah,
Like, we're like
it's like
we're
anytime.
ruining our mix essentially. You know.
Well, it's anytime that we like as a band too, we're like because even Acacia Strain, we've done tours in the last like before COVID where we didn't have a sound guy with us, and it's like, yeah, we're doing small rooms, we'll be fine just having house sound, and then you have somebody's like, yeah, turn down blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just like fake turning down. I'm like, I've been doing this longer than you. If you can't make it work at this reasonable volume I have it at, then that's a you problem.
Right.
Yeah, we used to
Yeah,
have sound
definitely.
guys that were like, "Hey, you guys brought a full stack. Do you think you're Pearl Jam?" And we're like, "Oh," but like the sound guy would always like, "Yeah, turn it down. I'm like, I need to hear it, dude."
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had like it was a pool hall. It was like rack and roll, and it was the guy was like an '80s kind of rock and roller. He was
That's
always busting
as
on
soon as you
chops.
see that, you're like, ah, fuck.
Yep.
Yeah. You kids
I used to
today,
do sound for Skid Row once.
you
Right.
new kids with your damn Zima. Yeah.
Oh man. So
Fancy axe effects. All you need is the Line 6 Spider, brother.
oh man. Oh yeah. We both had one of those.
Spider 2.
Yeah. I
Insane.
remember Sean got it. I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome."
It
Powered
does
up.
everything.
Yeah, right. Scroll through the effects. I will say that we saw, and I think I brought this up last show. We saw 18 Visions at the Sanctuary in Detroit, and one of the opener bands for those guys was playing. I don't what head was that, Sean?
It's a line. It's called a Line 6 240 HC, and like tone wise, like that guy stole the show. Like I don't know what they did with that head, but like Line 6, every once in a while they'll get something right. Oh, it sounded great.
Yeah,
And it really comes down to like the player and
Yeah,
how
right.
you
Just
dial stuff in and how you play with it. Because I've
absolutely.
like there used to be a place in Nashville. Um, I can't remember the name of it. Unimportant to the story, but the stage was small, and they used to make you have your amps kind of like facing in, just because there wasn't enough space to have them facing out because it was so
right.
narrow. And this band that was like opening the show sounded like fucking insane. The guitar tone was killer, and I'm like, what are they playing through? Like,
Right.
I'm using a 6505 plus, the 2005 standard,
Yeah.
and it's I'm like, what is going on? What are they playing? And then they get done, and they start loading everything off stage, and both of them were playing the um like the $400 crate half stacks that you could buy in the
Really.
mid 2000s, and I was just like,
What the fuck?
how?
How? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sean had a blue voodoo. That head was killer.
dude,
It was
those
like
are great.
it was modded or something.
There's a the pawn shop near me has like an Excalibur, and I keep like I'll probably buy it soon because it's like 150 bucks, and I know it's been there forever. I was in there the other day because up here like the closest Guitar Center is like 5 hours away.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
so pretty cut off. Like we've got like a little music store that does have some good stuff, but it's like old school mom and pop shop where you're like you look at something and you check the price and go, "Gah!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want $20 for a pair of drumsticks? What the fuck?
Right. They're used.
Yeah,
Yeah, we used to have music stores. Like we had about 3 or 4, but like ever since COVID, all the mom and pop music stores have shut down. So we have Guitar Center, and we have Sweetwater. That's 3 hours
yeah.
away.
And Sweetwater is great. They'll get you
Oh yeah.
anything really quickly, and they have pretty much whatever you want. And there's so many like small dealers now that just operate online that you can
Yeah.
like get deals with that will also carry smaller brands that you might not see at Guitar
Right.
Center or Sweetwater yet. Um, and so it's really cool. Like the way the whole like gear marketplace is now is there's a lot out there.
Like a boutique feel with some
Yeah.
of the yeah.
But anyway, so I went to this pawn shop, and there's this piece of gear I've been looking for a while. It's Fender made it from like I want to say like 88 to like 92, and it's called the Super 60 rack, and they made a Super 60 combo amp, a Super 60 head, and then a Super 60 rack. They're all basically the same amp, but this is like the rack mount unit, and they weren't very popular because it had a good like Fender clean sound. It was a little darker, but like it didn't do the Fender thing. It takes pedals really well, and it's like so sick for like doom metal and stuff. And I see one sitting there, and I was like, I've been checking, Reverb like 2 times a week for months, like waiting for one to pop up, and then there it is.
Nice.
And I like drag this thing to the counter. I'm like, I'll take it. And he's like, oh, dude, that's been here for like 3 years. Like, it was $200. He's like, I'll give it to you for 175. It's been here for years in the back. I just want to get rid of it. And I was like, okay, I would pay you 200 for it, but
right. I guess so.
I guess.
That's awesome.
I got home, plugged it in, sick.
That's great.
So you said the Fender thing. What does that mean?
So basically, like something you're playing a Strat or a Tele through, and it's got this really like kind of glassy, sparkly, clean sound, and then distortion wise, usually get something that just has like a bit of tube breakup, and
Gotcha.
it's you more of that like classic, slightly overdriven rock sound as opposed to like a thick, something more modern. This does something more modern. I need to mess with it more. Like the onboard distortion does get pretty thick. And I'm sure with like an overdrive, something in front of it, it'll cook. But putting like a fuzz in front of it, just like, ooh. And it's all tube, and you're finding like an all tube Fender head for $175. You just doesn't happen.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Like I love finding deals on Marketplace that like if like you're if you're like glued to like looking at that shit every once in a while,
all the time,
like something
daily
will pop up. Like Nat found this guy. He was selling a Nessa 412 with an XFX with a top tower amp. Also had like a MIDI switch, and he wanted like $1,800 for all of it. And I'm like, oh. What? Jump on it, dude.
Yeah, I think it was the XFX 2, I think.
Yeah, XFX.
Updated or something.
Still a banger.
Yeah, I also still like I'll still find deals online too, like on like Reverb and eBay. And like a crucial tip, especially for Reverb, if you're looking for something specific or at least something from a certain era or brand, spell it wrong. Because sometimes
people do it all the time.
Yeah, sometimes if you spell Ibanez like Ibenez, there will be a couple things that pop up, and usually it's somebody who doesn't really know what it is. They couldn't even spell the name right.
That's not how you spell it.
Yeah, I have a 99 Ibanez SR 885, like a sound gear bass that's Japanese made. Was the bass they ended up basing like the K5 off of. It's what Fieldy used to use.
Yeah.
Found it on Reverb. They had it marked as like a 1990 Ibanez bass. No other info. It was a pawn shop selling it. They were asking $140, and I was like, "Will you take 120?" And they're like, "Sure." And it came with a SKB Fender case, and I'm like, "Come on."
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Like it's a little beat up, but it plays and sounds good, and I use it on recordings at home.
Nice.
I'm all about like if I can find something that's cheap, especially stuff that I'm like, I know that this is like a good piece of gear, like that super rack. Just recently, I've seen people kind of like talking about them. So there aren't any like good videos on them. It's just a guy, like always some guy, like bad phone video in his bedroom playing with one. So I'm like, if I make a quality video with this thing, everyone's gonna want one.
So don't do it.
Then,
and let me.
I got to get a couple of them first, so then I can be like, "Oh, I have one I can sell you."
Right.
It's been a while since I played through like a real amp, and I went over to my buddy Jeremy's house, and like playing in a studio like through like amp sims and amp modelers is cool, but like when I played through his amp, there's something about real amps that just like I was like I shouldn't have came over here.
Oh yeah.
Now I want one.
I mean, that's like I tell everybody, like, when I give guitar lessons, and there's so many people now that are getting into guitar that have been playing for a while that have only played through plugins on their computer, or through like a digital modeler or something, and which is fine. Most of my playing at this point when I'm home is through like any of the neural plugins, because I'll come up with something and then track it and whatever. But there is absolutely like a magic that comes with playing through a real amp and having just feeling a speaker, like huge speakers pushing air in front of you, and like feeling it like fill the room, and like the natural gain that comes from like a tube amp.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah,
it's like it's something that's like it is hard to truly describe. Like it's just sitting there and doing it, and going, oh, okay, that's the thing. Um, I mean, even live, like we still like I'm using quad cortex, but I'm running to like a Duncan power stage into a real cab. We're running direct lines out for like front of the house, but I have to have, even though I have in ears, like I have to have the stage volume to just like feel it.
Oh yeah, for
For
sure.
people who are also up right against the stage, the PA speakers are over here.
Yeah, you don't want to be
You
in
want to
front
hear
of it.
stuff coming at you. I saw, um, I won't name a band, but a band in probably 2010 that was all on Axe Effects, and they were going direct in, no cabs,
ugh,
just drums. Drums were the only thing I could really hear besides like faint guitar coming out of like a PA that was too weak.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. With amp modelers, you really have to do all your EQ just right, and like I mean, if you don't have your EQ, it's gonna sound like shit. Uh,
Yeah, and but if you do it right, like it sounds incredible. Um, people always are like, "Dude, what are you guys doing?" And I'll like see live videos of us, and I'm like, "Fuck, we sound crazy." Like, I don't get it because I don't think I'm doing anything special, but Chris knows what he's doing behind the board, and um,
Yeah, you guys
anything
have
can sound good, but
great audio.
the feeling, the feedback that you get of just playing, and this is it's a similar thing with the whole Tonewood conversation,
mhm.
where like I work for a guitar company. I will be one of the first people to tell you that like it does and does not matter as far as the sound that is going to come out of a guitar. Strings, the hardware, the nut, pickups are really all that truly matters. Like scale length and tension and all that stuff matter, but the wood,
For actual tone and
yeah,
resonance.
your pickups aren't picking up the body resonating. They're picking up the strings vibrating. Um, and a lot of the sustain is going to come out of like a more highly driven amp, and most guitars can sustain just fine. But the magic that comes with that, with tone wood, is something that like resonates better and like reverberates more. You feel that when you're playing, and there's that feedback loop of like, this feels really good in my hands, and I'm
Right.
playing better because of it. And you're kind of giving yourself that false like,
Yeah.
because it feels better, it sounds better, and it
Yeah,
sounds better because you're playing better because it feels better. So it's this kind of just loop that goes. So like I have preferred woods I like to use because I like how they resonate when I use them. Um,
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had guitars that had the same 81, 85s in it, and like I picked up a different like LTD, and then I'm like, why does it just feel better? It's
yeah.
probably different wood.
Mhm.
Um, I know nowadays a lot of artists are like getting into uh 27, 28, like even like 30-inch scale lengths in order to like get more tension to drop down lower while maintaining clarity. Like
Yeah.
I like seeing like all these new custom projects from Mike Stringer has like a 7-string baritone, and like Kiesel just started making 30 inch long necks.
Yeah.
That's something I've been experimenting lately with because I've always liked drop tuning. At the same time, like Matt and I, we used to use 10 to 52 gauge strings to like get our six string to drop
Yeah.
to
Is
A.
that what's that, the skinny top, heavy bottom?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, the GHS boomers.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I tried them all.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I'm always like, when people ask about like, like what's your preferred string, and I'm like, well, what guitar am I playing? What tuning
Right.
is the guitar in? What's the scale length? All that stuff. Because somebody will be like, oh, what strings do you use? And I'm like, well, what guitar do you have? Because my setup is likely very different from yours. In addition to like how I play. Um, so I always kind of tell people like find something that lets you bend a full step without much fight, and like you have to push a little bit to go beyond that. So it's like not too floppy, not too tight. Because I know so many people, especially from like mid to late 2000s, like when I started playing seven string, there were so many seven string guys that were using like bass strings essentially at the time because you couldn't, for the most part, go and get like anything over a 70. And they were like, I use a 75 and I'm in drop A. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, we played drop A with the 56 or the
yeah,
52s.
I played on seven strings for the longest time, drop A, I think 10 to 58 seven string set.
Was that Rose Funeral?
Yeah, Rose Funeral into, I did it in 1931 into Rose Funeral into Oceano. And I think I was even doing it into Acacia Strain when I first joined. And it was just like, we were in G sharp. So I ended up going, like, I now play 11 to 64 on a 26.5 inch scale. And then the F stuff, I don't play eight strings at all anymore because I don't like how they feel.
I was going to ask you about that.
But yeah, it's 27-inch scale on those, and those I'm now using, because with our eight string tuning is tuned up. It's like F, and then everything else is up like a half step up above standard. So I am using, I want to say it's a 9 to 74,
That makes sense.
something like that.
Gives you more attention on your.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's an eight string set, whatever the eight string NYXL D'Addario set is. But I'm using the 74, and then the second string, I toss that one, and then everything else is what I'm using, because it's like it's that stuff, the eight string stuff we do, like it feels better to have that stuff a little bit looser because it is bendier.
Right.
So it's weird. The strings, it all depends on what you're doing, really.
Gotta find that balance of tension to where it feels comfortable.
I know some people don't like a stainless string versus like a, because it's tinny sounding, or I
Yeah,
remember like.
I don't really like stainless strings. I don't like how they felt on my fingers. And I'm very like, a lot of that stuff I'm just like really sensitive to. It's weird. Like I've tried, I remember when Ernie Ball Cobalt strings came out, and I tried those, and like, these feel disgusting.
Yep.
And it's like, and that's a me thing, just like sensory thing. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it felt like they had
Right.
powder or something on them, like chalk
Yeah,
or something.
they felt real like gritty.
Yeah.
But then the NYXL, it feels like a normal string, but whatever they've changed with the alloy, I get an extra like day or two of life on tour out of them. And we're lucky enough that like we have a deal with the Dario, so I'm not like shelling out for extra string, like more expensive strings, but I'm just like, if I can, because we don't have techs, like we don't have guitar techs, because it's just like, I have been working on guitars for about as long as I've been playing them, so I'm like, if something goes wrong with my guitar, I'm gonna fix it.
Right.
And anything that can happen with our rig, we can figure out. And it's just like, at this point, having a tech would be more of a thing where it's like, this is just so I don't have to do anything.
Right. And then you can blame somebody when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
But now if something goes wrong, I'm like, what did I do?
Right.
But getting an extra day or two between string changes is great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then
You
I'm
wipe
also,
them down.
yeah, I
Like
wipe them down, and I typically like every when I change strings, like the first string change of a tour, I'm just changing all the wound strings, and then every other string, but every other change, I'll do like the full set. But the plain strings, they die out much slower.
right.
But those wound strings, once they start to go and sound like just dead, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that sucks.
And
So
that's
let's talk.
with any string, yeah.
Since we're talking guitars, how about we talk about? I'm gonna say it wrong, but Balaguer guitars, right? Is that how?
Balaguer.
Balaguer. Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. I've been with Balaguer as an artist since the end of 2019. We did a tour, and they put out a model that I thought was really cool, and I was like, "Damn, this is cool." And Joe, the owner, messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, we could build you one if you want to try it." And I'm like, dude, I appreciate it, but I've been with Ibanez for a really long time. Um, but I was like, the only way that I would ever leave is if I had like a signature model with somebody. And he's like, we can do that. And I was like, okay, let's talk.
Right.
And they brought some stuff out for me to try at a show in Pennsylvania, and that was really sick. I liked it. And at the point in time, I'd been with Ibanez for a decade, and I'm still friends with the people that I worked with there. But the way that the focus of their like guitars was moving was away from my taste. Like at the beginning, it was like, we had like my endorsement at the time was like I get 2 guitars every 2 years, and every time that like it was new guitar time, I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I want. And near the end, it was like, I guess I'll play that one. Because it was like all the finishes were really like gent guitar kind of things. They were really like the whole like Polyphia thing was getting started as far as like it taking off, and it's like guys like us were getting kind of pushed to the side, and it was not an intentional thing. It's like it makes sense for them. They're going to sell more of those guitars than they would for like what we were doing, and they built me a like custom shop Destroyer 7-string because they're like, we're going to bring the Destroyer back. And I'm like, sick. That's awesome. Because I'd been asking for that guitar forever, and they're like, no, because if you're playing a Destroyer and we don't make a Destroyer, it doesn't like help us. And they were going to bring the Destroyer back. And I'm like, cool. Got the guitar. It wasn't built like there were a couple like key specs that like got kind of goofed, and I was like, eh. And then they got scared of like getting sued by Gibson.
Mm.
Even though the Destroyer is a different enough shape from the Explorer, so they scrapped it, and I was like, okay, so now I have this guitar that like I'm playing it, and people are going to ask me about it, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, you can't get anything like this.
That sucks.
Right.
I'm like, it doesn't help, and they were just kind of like, oh well, and I'm like, ah. And I'm like thinking like I want to be able to like help a brand grow, because I do like, as much as it doesn't make sense to me sometimes, like there is value in what I do as far as being able to like, with Balaguer, now that I have signature guitars, we've sold every one I put out, because I think I've been playing guitar in the forums and all that stuff for long enough that I'm like, not only do I know what I like, but I trust my tastes that like I know other people are going to like what I'm putting out, and so far that's been true. And so it's just kind of like I want to add more guitars to the marketplace that are like things I would have wanted when I was younger, that other people would have been like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
So
It's the
here we are now.
it's almost that misconception too when you hear people um like, oh well, what does the guitar company do for the artist? No, it's what the artist is doing with the guitar company, right? Like
Yeah.
you're just
It's
you're promoting just as much as
yeah, it's a very like symbiotic thing because there are artists with every brand that like they see it as like cool, I got my stuff and they don't ever post about it. They don't do any or they play shows and you're like, where's the guitar that we gave you? You're playing
right.
this thing. And like, oh, well, didn't think it was a big deal. And you're like, why do you think we gave you that?
Right.
What did you think we wanted you to do with it? Uh,
Right. It's just sitting on the rack. Right.
yeah, but at the same time, there are it goes both ways. Where there are brands out there that expect way too much out of an artist, that I'm like, what are you talking about? Like there was one point in time when I was still using the Ibanez stuff where this company sent us these like basically stickers that go on the guitar neck, like they're like glow in the dark fret markers for guitars that didn't have like lumen lay. I'm like, oh, cool, these are cool, and then you can put them on your like fretboard too. And then they were like, yeah, if you want an endorsement, like they wanted us to sell them at the merch table, put a sign about them at the merch table, talk about them on stage, and I'm like,
Oh no,
what are you?
no, no.
Absolutely
I don't
not.
know if anybody's seen my fret markers,
Yeah,
but
like, what are you doing?
that's
Um,
crazy. Yeah, that's a little much.
and I've had that happen with a couple brands where like they've made something like I never go after like an endorsement with somebody or try to like get a deal if it's something I wouldn't buy anyways. Like it's something I want to play. And there was another company that like um they made like aluminum guitar necks and I wanted one for this like kind of doom strat that I have. And I was like, hey, I'm like I could make some content with it, all that stuff, like not asking for anything for free, like if you have any sort of artist pricing, whatever. And they're like, yeah, and like look, like they wanted to see the tour schedule and be like, oh yeah, if you got to use it at least one song on tour. And I'm like, I'm not bringing this thing on tour. Like I gave you everything that I would be doing with it, and here's the reach that I have. But I'm like, you gotta have
Right.
like
Right.
very
It doesn't fit into your, you know,
yeah.
what
Everybody
you're
like
doing.
every company that deals with like artists, you have to be flexible to like how can you and that artist work together best, and not just be like, well, this is what we want everybody to do, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's got to be people in marketing that just have no idea what they're doing,
Well,
right? Like,
yeah, it's people that are not to dog on small companies, but it's usually like it's somebody where they have a company and they have like you know their spouse handles some other thing or does social media or whatever, and they're like,
right.
here's I looked up what endorsements look like,
Right.
um, because there are a lot of brands out there, which is it's cool because there's so much more gear now than there ever was, but there's a lot of brands out there that are small that have never been in like the artist side of the world. They're players themselves and they just made a product and they're like, cool, I don't know how this works. Um,
Right.
and so then you have somebody who's done this with a lot of people, and they're getting told all this stuff that like no other brand would think of saying, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
Which I
that's tough, man.
yeah actually
Everybody's a business owner too nowadays. You know what I mean? You got to be
yeah
careful.
I had and I'm not gonna throw names under the bus here, but I had this company that makes basically like an amp product that I hit them up because I wanted to like see about some equipment and see like what kind of pricing could I get, whatever. And they're like, we can send you this unit, this accessory, all like a bunch of stuff. And I was like, what? Oh, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Right.
And let the guy know like, hey, I'm on tour right now, and my wife works, so I'm home from tour on this date. If we can ship it so it arrives after then, that'd be wonderful because it was going to be like a signature required kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Even
Yeah,
though it's
and
important. I get it.
yeah, and then it of course I get like halfway through the tour, I get like a shipping notification. I was like, "What are we doing here?" I
Hmm.
I thought I said not to ship this. Um, and I asked the guy like, "Hey, do you talk to somebody to see if they can like have them hold it or redirect it?" Because when I tried to go in, it had like their information as opposed to like mine being the person receiving it.
Yeah.
FedEx came and went 3 days while my wife was at work, saw it on the camera,
Hmm.
and it got shipped back. And then because of like tariff stuff, the company changed their like guidelines on like sending gear out and everything like that. So
Uh-huh.
my stuff got put back in inventory and they're no longer able to send anything to anybody. And
Oh my gosh.
like I'm like, fuck man, like is there like there's nothing you can do? This stuff already literally showed up at my house. I just wasn't there to get it. And he's like,
Yeah.
I know, I just like I'd have to put in a new order for it and it'll get denied. And I'm like, come on, please help.
Is it, you said that was FedEx?
Yeah.
Yeah, not to put them out there, but I've had a similar issue to where they delivered a guitar to me. It was signature required. They came and it was like, I don't know, somebody wasn't here. And the guy was like, he calls me and he's like, can I just put it like at your back door? It was like pouring rain. I'm like, no, you cannot. I'm like, I'm not leaving this guitar out in the rain. So he ended up, it went back to, we have like a local, like Walgreens or, as a distribution center. But then I had another issue recently where I bought a guitar and the case was damaged in their shipping process, probably whether it was on a plane or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and they're just like,
yeah, yeah, they did. They were like, "Oh, you'll just have to contact the." And I'll have to say, the guitar company actually came through and shipped me a new case for nothing, and I kept the other case. So I'm
yeah,
like,
because typically I feel like they'll like in those situations, like now being on like the gear side of things with Balaguer, in that situation is like we would kind of like probably eat whatever happened and then handle the
right,
uh, claim or whatever because being like we use UPS and we have like an account with them and everything, so it's like you have a bit more contact with somebody than if you're Joe Schmo who's I ordered something and it got damaged and they're just like okay,
right,
so did everyone else.
yeah, exactly,
Prove
yeah,
that we did it.
right. So what you were talking about, like when you guys are playing live, do you have a backup plan if something fails, if you're running uh a quad or something like that, do you guys have a backup amp that you might run or like to where you guys can do it old school? Sean and I were just talking about this. That's why I'm asking this.
Yeah, so there is a we haven't really set up the redundancy for quad cortex stuff yet because me and Griffin are using quad cortex. Mike is still on Kemper.
Okay.
Uh, Pretty much the plan right now, guitar wise, if something goes wrong, is hopefully it doesn't go wrong for both of us at the same time. But when something happens, it's like understand here that like oh Mike's not playing anymore or Devin's not playing anymore. So this part I better keep playing the rhythm instead of going to the lead. Uh,
Right. That's slick.
and typically making sure that something gets fixed. 'Cause this stuff's pretty reliable. Like you're not gonna have like
Right.
it just like it's not gonna have like a tube blow or something like that. Um,
Right.
but like worst case scenario, we can jump on like a backup quad cortex or um, worst case scenario, you could run a whole band show off of one quad cortex, like
Yeah.
Right.
which we haven't really even looked into doing it, so it's not like an easy thing we could just pop on. Um, but even like we run like a click track, and then we have tracks in the background too that are just more like ambient noises and stuff that happen in the songs that make everything sound a bit more full. Um, and it's one of those things where if that stuff goes down, we're still a band that has done this for
Right.
almost 25 years, we'll play.
Yep. That's what
Yeah,
I mean
yeah,
too.
that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome.
We were in Paris on the last European tour, and we start our set, and like the intro's going, and we hear like the intro click to like start the song, and we start playing, and all that was there was like the cue, like the click, and no other click.
Hmm.
Um, so we just had to
Right. Like,
play
like
and
the
and
stick
try
hit.
to like keep the feel going. And the tracks and everything for us are usually very low, so it's not like we're hearing what other stuff is going on and using that as like a reference point. But we're going, and then we'd hear like, because we'll have cues for when a part is changing, just so like, because there's times I'm sure playing shows you've zoned out on a part and been like, oh shit, we changed.
Oh yeah.
Um, so anytime a part changes or like a certain thing happens, there will be like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So those would pop in, and it's like
Right. Oh, yeah, there
that
we are.
that like slight adjustment being made, but we were
Right.
pretty close.
That's funny.
But that's
Something
like
you could laugh about afterwards.
yeah, I mean we didn't start using a click until after COVID, so we existed as a band with no click for 20 years.
Oh yeah. So
Um,
like the
so
back of your hand.
yeah, so we can still do it, but switching over, it's like this makes everything so much easier. And having in ears, like I have them in right now, and being able to play on stage and hear everything at a volume, hear everything all over the stage wherever I'm at is great, but hearing it at a volume that isn't like killing me is incredible.
Right.
Like the first tour where we used ears, there was something going on with like the computer, and I was like, fuck, and I took one ear out, and just the volume of like cabs and drums on stage from like this very isolated thing to that, I was like, how have I been doing this for this long at that volume level? It's insane.
Right.
Um, but speaking of the computer, we have a pretty solid redundancy for that. So we've got two MacBooks running, and they're running simultaneously. We have I want to say it's called a Zio or a Mio, something like that. But I don't do the computer stuff. But we have essentially this device that both computers are hooked into, and it is detecting a sine wave that is going throughout the whole set. If something happens on computer A, like a glitch or like a lag or something that makes that sine wave cut off for any amount of time, it immediately switches over to computer B that is playing at the same time,
Oh wow.
where like the glitching should be fine. And then like if everything kind of gets fixed on computer A, we can switch back, so like the redundancy is still there. Um, but it's a
That,
pretty good system because I have seen many times a band not able to play their set because like, oh, well, our computer's not working.
right.
And while that hasn't happened to us, I'm also of the like, if we're on stage and we're supposed to be playing and like 3 minutes goes by where we're still trying to figure something out, I'm just gonna be like, just fucking play. Just
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're right. It's killing the whole.
yeah. We actually we did Sonic Temple in Columbus, and something got messed up in the session. So it wasn't like a computer issue, it was a human issue when it came to programming the session, because we had the headlining set that we were doing, and then we had a festival set that we hadn't run yet. And when we go to play Beast, it was another thing where the Beast sample wasn't going through. So we're like waiting for this to start, and we're like, fuck, knowing it's supposed to be going. Because there was something before, like the feedback's supposed to start, and that fades out, and the feedback never comes in. And we're trying to figure this out. And then Matt goes back to the computer. He's trying to mess with it. The feedback comes in with the click, like somewhere where I'm supposed to be playing, like the god dun dun.
Right.
Like, I have no idea where in that this is.
Right.
and I'm like trying to find it and it's just not working. The click goes out and I'm like that we had basically a train wreck and had to just skip Beast, which sucks.
Uh,
But
I was gonna say, so I want to know what you're feeling on this. And you've been in the band since what, 2013?
yeah.
Right. So a long time. Uh, as far as like I feel as a fan, I'm just gonna say, I feel that Beast has kind of turned into like an anthem for you guys almost a little bit. Like just watching if you watch any of your live videos and like the crowd response, like with like the call out vocals like of the crowd in that song, I'm like, man, it's so powerful. I don't know why. I know everybody 3752, right? Of course, like the intro to that album is big, right?
Yeah. Um yeah, I Beast is definitely one that like no matter where we put it in the set, it is going to get a pop.
Yeah.
And we've we're also lucky enough to have a strong enough catalog of music that people want to hear that it hasn't been very often, but we've done like maybe one tour since I've been in the band where we just didn't play Beast.
Right.
And
I went to it. You
yeah.
didn't play. I don't think you guys played Beast on the BT Bam tour you guys just did.
Okay, well yeah, those were album shows. I think
Yeah.
we we might have done Beast on the first night because I know we did like Step in the Light and then like some hits.
Yeah.
Um but there was another tour that was like not an album tour where it was like let's try not playing Beast.
Right.
Not even like a we don't want to play it, but I think it was like the third or fourth tour in America we did that year, and it's like let's do a very different lineup of songs.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm sure just to keep it fun and right.
it's very sick to like have a lot of songs that people know and like.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I can't imagine being a band that's like you know that like people only want to hear X, Y, or Z songs, so you have to save them for the end. Or if you have
Yeah.
like two or three songs, like you have to open with this one and then close with this one. Um, that
Yeah,
would
that
suck because it makes your
yeah.
whole set predictable. But I also
Right.
think that that happens to a lot of bands, like you know, that are kind of adjacent to us, mainly because they'll have a certain point where like they put out something that everybody loved, and then they go, okay, how do we keep that up? Like let's that's the sound we got to do, and they try to like make something that sounds similar, and people don't connect with it.
Yeah. What would you say if you had to pick like a song out of the whole catalog that you play? What's the most fun song you have that you enjoy the most playing?
Um, it's hard to say because there's so much that I enjoy playing. Um,
Whether it's like a crowd response, even it could be, you know what I
yeah,
mean? I could see that changing your feeling
like
on a song or
I really like Hills Have Eyes. I really like Beast. Um, but there's I don't know, man. There's like some songs where like I didn't think a song was gonna go over live, and then it's like fun to play. Like Chinamasta is really fun to play live.
yeah.
Um, some of the Doom stuff is really fun to play live. It's a bit more challenging because there's so much more openness where like if you fuck a note up, there's not another one coming for a minute, so you better play it right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, like there is something about Beast and playing that intro and
Yeah.
knowing that you have that power to make everything that's happening out there like happen.
Yeah. I think Vincent's been helping you out on that one too, man. Because now he's calling you out, you know, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's powerful. Some of those like the Hate 5-6 recordings of you guys,
Oh, they're
Yeah,
good.
the audio on those are killer, man.
because Griffin mixes them.
Jeez,
Uh,
sounds so good.
he's always like, he's adamant. Like when we do something, he's like, "Let me, for the love of God, let me mix it," because like Sonny is like a hero in hardcore. Like record the amount of shows that man records is insane. Um, a lot of times the mixes are fine, but knowing that like we recorded, we have the board recording from Chris. We can mix it. Like we are a band. Like Griffin and Matt are both producers. Mike and I know our way around audio stuff enough to like get by, but those two like can make it sound insane. Why wouldn't we want it to sound
Oh
more
yeah,
indicative of like what you're hearing from front of house?
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Like didn't
yeah.
have
That's
that
killer.
back
He
in the
does a good
day.
job, no doubt.
Yeah, I usually watch the Hate 5-6 or like Caliber. Uh, Audio Trees even had a couple really good ones lately
Yeah,
where I think I saw Tala a couple days ago and I'm like, oh my God, this mix is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that band. Uh, I think they just did a full live recording with. There's a producer and well, you might like Josh Schroeder. Do you know who that is?
yeah.
That, yeah. So I think he put a thing out on his page looking for a band that played tight live, and he said he was gonna basically uh mix master for free.
Yeah.
And I think he picked them. I'm pretty sure.
Because like that's something I like we as a band have talked about doing for a while is like um I would love to do like a lot like a live studio recording. Like
Right.
because the studio where we track where like Matt also works, it's cabin out in the woods. It's sick. Like if we could just do like the live room there and have like some friends and stuff there just to like, listen in while we're playing.
Yeah,
Like I think that would be
that'd
sick.
be
And
sick.
we play tight enough that we can pull it off. Like we have um I mean I hope it sees the light of day sometime, but we have like a full live recording of It Comes in Waves.
Really.
Uh yeah, like I just listened to it the other day and I'm like, "Oh, sick." Cuz we did that tour so long ago now like when Tom was still in the band.
Yeah.
Um but like that exists, it's there. Just that being a thing where we were like on Rise but put that out with Closed Casket, it was like trying to then further do stuff has been, you know, a bit of a hurdle, and that we kind of keep moving forward. So it's like we have, you are safe from God here to focus on. So we're not going to go back at the moment and be like, here's this thing we've done.
Right.
But there's so much stuff. There's so many, you know, from the past few records we have like just B-sides that didn't make the records, or like stuff that Vincent hasn't recorded vocals for, where we could record enough vocals on. We have enough songs to just be like, yeah, here's a whole record of just other songs that didn't fit with the ones that we put out.
Right. All B-side stuff. That's cool.
And I think that like the way we operate, um, I don't think that our B-sides are bad. I don't think that anything we didn't put on a record was like, this isn't good. It was just like, this doesn't fit the vibe of the record.
Right.
And since like Slow Decay, it's been very much like we all write at home. We put ideas in a Dropbox. Everybody listens to everyone's ideas, and we say like, I like this part. I don't like this part. These two parts are sick. And we compare notes, and like the stuff that we all like, we start trying to piece not like those parts together, but we start to build ideas off of what those parts are doing for everybody. So
Yeah.
for You Are Safe from God here, we showed up to the studio with like 40 demo songs. We went through
Nice.
and picked the parts that we liked, built new stuff off of that. There's a handful of those demos that like had parts that made it through, but most of it is like fresh stuff we wrote in the studio. But there was so much work done ahead of time to get us all on the same page creatively that once we get in there, like we hammer everything out. Like just it's very um like machine precise with how just like we're firing on all cylinders because we've done the work ahead of time to like get in the right headspace.
So do you bounce like riffs off each other, like sending them, emailing them, or like texting them, or?
Yeah, so we have like a Dropbox link that we are all in, and I'll be like, hey, new demo in the Dropbox, and it's essentially when I'm writing, like I'll have an idea for a riff, and I don't want to just send a riff, so it's like I'm going to build this out to see just where my stream of consciousness was going at the time, and like add drums and all that stuff. Like, here's what I could see Matt doing during this part, possibly. Or I'll leave it kind of like open to interpretation drum wise. But I'll send a demo, and it's like sometimes that stream of consciousness will lead to like from this riff I started with was cool. Then the next things were kind of like but it led me to this really sick part, and then that sick part ends up becoming a different song later. But it's just letting all that stuff come out. And once we all hear stuff, and like if everybody clicks on something like this is doing something, like then it's kind of the question of like, why does that one work? Okay, we start to get this shell of an idea of like what the record is going to sound like what the vibe of the record is, as opposed to just being like, here's 10 heavy songs.
Right.
The reason I ask is I just recently, over the last couple of years, started working with people online with like vocalists and like other musicians, and but before I did that, like that whole experience, like it's crazy to me how much has changed, like by just having the technology, sending the riff, getting vocals back, and like getting everything done. Like you could do it in like 5 hours. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, like if not for technology, I would not be able to be in this band. Even before I moved to California, like living in Ohio, it was still a 9-10 hour drive to get to like Albany. And if I couldn't, like if we had to get together weekly to practice, like even that, I'd be like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But now it's like everyone can practice at home doing their own thing. We can write and send ideas back and forth. We get together like a day or two before a tour to rehearse, and it's like, oh, we have the whole session that we're going to be playing to live. Like Matt will send us like the whole show, and he'll put in like the original recordings of the song so we can like play along with like what the set is going to be and the order and all that stuff, and hear all the samples that'll be there, like the in between song stuff. So when it's time to practice, like everyone's on it. No one's going like, what's next? Oh, wait, how do you play that part? There's sometimes if we're adding a new song in there might be a little tightening up to make sure we're all playing the same thing, so we didn't interpret it wrong somewhere. But
nice.
yeah, it goes over pretty well.
I was watching this interview with Adam D from Killswitch, and they were asking him like, how do you go about making your riffs? And he said that he has a voice recorder, and he'll just be like, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, Matt, we should do this, like, and just like
I do that every once in a while. Like if I'm out and I have like an idea in my head, I'll like voice note myself or like record a video of me like saying the riff that I'm hearing. And usually what happens is like I'll listen to it later and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But I'm pretty good of like, I can pick up my guitar and have something come out. I can play, and once something like kind of like piques my interest, I'm like, oh, what was that? I'll start to circle around that idea and flesh it out into something. And I try to write, like once I get like fully settled after a tour and I have a chunk of time, like I'll try to write every single day. Be it Acacia Strain or anything else, I write all kinds of stuff. Because there's inspiration that can come from anywhere, and like I'll try to learn songs where I'm like, okay, cool. I've always liked this song. Let me learn it. Why? What about this song made me want to learn it? oh, cool. What is this cool thing going on in guitar that makes me like this song? How can I incorporate that into my own playing? So
Totally.
there's a lot of that, and then trying to write stuff like as a challenge, like let me write something in the style of this band. Um, and also important, if you write songs, you hit writer's block, or you go like, oh, this riff sucks. And my advice for that is to push through it and write something, anything. It doesn't have to be good. Get the bad ideas out of your head
Yeah. Yeah.
and then get them down so that you stop like kind of coming back to them. You can kind of more analyze after it's recorded. Why don't I like this? What sucks about this? Okay, let's not do that kind of stuff anymore. Um, and understanding that as guitar players, we want everything we write to be the best thing we've ever written, and it
Yeah.
just
Oh
does not work
God, I
that
hate
way.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, this has to be better than the last song. Like that doesn't matter, and also you're not the judge of that.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
100% up to whoever listens to it and whoever interprets it a different way. So write turd songs if you have to. I have a file, a folder on my computer called Turd Mountain. That's just every like shitty demo where I'm like, I just got to get this idea out, and I'll throw it in there and like forget about it for 6 months and then go back and listen. And every once in a while, I'll be like, what? Why did I play it that way? Like if I did it this way, it'd be sick. And then like because I'm coming in with a new mindset. Like there could be gold in there, but usually it's like this sucks.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm
like it'll be one of those things where like I call them sound check riffs, where it's just this is something I play at sound check that is annoying. I'm trying to get everyone else on stage to be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Um, I've got a few of those that are like old standbys. I'm just like, let me play this band on and on and on and on and on and on. It's just over and over, and it's super annoying.
The whole band's looking at you.
Yeah. Oh, when Tom was in the band, we would just like harmonize it, and everyone would be like, stop! You have to stop. We have to play.
Hey, if you put some chugs behind that, dun, dun, dun.
That's funny. I use the whole voice memo thing still to track guitar stuff because I'm completely computer illiterate and just can't navigate a DAW at all. But
It took me a really long time to figure it out.
oh man, I need to like Sean's pretty good with it. I need Sean to like live here for a week or so and just help me get through it. But so yeah, I have a bunch of voice memos that have my address for some reason. I have to like try to go through and find what riff is what.
Yeah, I just slowly I started producing about 8 years ago, and I just slowly chipped away at it. But yeah, I went from using like Fruit Loops to or FL Studio to Reaper, back to FL Studio for like electronic type music. But I mainly write metal, but I do like going into like the synth wave and
Yeah.
different stuff like that, just because I find it refreshing and like uh, I've been listening to metal for like God 30 years now, and expanding the horizons and like getting away from it is refreshing for me, like because I like you said, like you compile all these songs and like with that writer's block, and instead of forcing myself, I just wrote a different style of music and then came back to the metal. And
Yeah.
what I found is when I took a break, and like I came back and like I was writing really pissed off shit, and I'm like, well, it worked.
Yeah.
Right. You get your own synth. I'm not gonna call it Turd Mountain, but that's your escape, right?
It's electric turd mountain.
Yeah, there you go. How do you feel like since Coma Witch to the new album? What's the change to you, or is there a change? Do you feel like you guys are following the same kind of process or sound or
I So it's changed quite a bit. I think that I love everything that we've done as a band since I joined and before. Um, but the writing, so above and below this EP when I joined, I wrote above, Richie wrote below. You know, 7 inch one side, one song each side.
Mhm.
cool. When we did Coma Witch, there was a lot of like songs I wrote, songs Richie wrote, and then stuff where we jammed in like for a lot of it was in Vincent's garage, and then there was a lot of it in um we rented this like practice space. It was in like it was fucking tundra. It was during like that polar vortex thing
Oh yeah.
in like 20 late 2013, early 2014, wherever. And we're in this practice unit like that doesn't get warm or like in jackets, just playing like here's a riff I have, here's a riff Richie has, but it was very much like pieced together as opposed to like there wasn't a lot of new stuff written like together. So when I listen to Coma Witch, I can hear like, oh, this is a Devin song, this is a Richie song. Um, and there, to me, there's like that bit of a split, and then like Observer, there's a good chunk of that song that before I joined the band, me and Vincent were gonna start a doom band, and that was what we had for that. And I was like, well, we're just gonna use this, and then I wrote the rest of it like in his garage, except for there's one clean part I think when Abra is doing like the kind of spoken word thing that Richie wrote that. It's very like kind of Pink Floydy. And I think that was the point where we kind of worked together the best. And you know, Richie is still a great friend of mine. He lives like 5 hours from me. He's the closest member that I live to. But I don't think we ever really got much of an opportunity to like really like meld together. Because he left before we did Grave Bloom, and he just couldn't handle like the stresses that were put on your shoulders of like you have to do this record, you have to do this. So he kind of had a big panic attack and was like, I can't do this anymore. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, we're going to the studio at this point in time. It is on me and Griffin's shoulders to write this. So we pumped out songs, and it was like the songs that we wrote were the songs that ended up on the record. There was no leftovers. Walled City we wrote in the studio. And there was a lot of like extra parts we had to write in the studio. And I think I think it's a good record. But I think that those stresses kind of came through. And then after that, like we did Slow Decay. And that is where I feel like we really had a change where we were all writing stuff at home. Because at that point, I'd finally learned how to like record myself as opposed to like having really bad, like just guitar only with a click, no like drums, nothing else to really flesh out a demo. So we were all doing more writing outside and like coming together, and we were at Griffin's studio, and there was a point where we got together to write, and we were Griffin's in one room with a Kemper and like his computer and everything. I'm in like the control room with Randy, who we recorded with. Tom is in the other room with a mobile rig as well, and we're all just like writing ideas and kind of like bouncing around and being like, what are you working on? And Griffin's like, I got this part. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if it's any good. And it was Seeing God. It was like the first like two riffs of that, and we're like, this is fucking sick. And then like me and Tom built the rest of that song after like what he had there. And it was a very like symbiotic record where we're all like pulling from each other as opposed to like, this is my stuff, this is my stuff, this is my stuff.
Right.
So from there, like that was kind of like the shift for us. And the same goes for It Comes in Waves. Like we recorded that on tour. Like we'd have a day off and we'd go to an Airbnb and just track like on a MacBook. And so, yeah, so then after that it was like, you know, we became more a unit, I think, than just having here's my songs. It was like I don't have songs, I have parts, and they're a song once the whole band contributes.
Right.
And so
That's cool.
it's a lot more now about like the song and like the full piece of music as opposed to like we have to get this riff down and whatever. So it feels more representative of like who we are at like a certain point in time and as a group. Like I can hear all of our influences and everything kind of what we're feeling because we all write it together. Like no one's just like, here's my song and leave it at that. It's like we're all contributing. So it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Do you find it, or did you find it hard, like your transition from, let's say, any of the bands that you've been in now up until uh, when you joined the Acacia Strain? But did you find it hard, like coming from a band that was a certain style, and then you come to this new band, and it's like, all right, well, it's different, but it's cool, and I want to be a part of it, but I really don't know how to like fit into the writing process, or
It was incredibly easy, and I want to say that because I my old band 1931, that was a band that like I started and it was me and my friends in high school and we existed for 5 years, which for a local band, local regional touring band, whatever, is a good amount of time, I guess. And when we were at one point we were pretty much done, and I'm like, I'd filled in for Rose Funeral at one point, and I was like, oh, they need a guitar player. I'm like, I'll do it because it was something to do. I had moved out and I was like living with some friends on like OSU campus, and I was sleeping on my friend's floor. So anything that would get me out of there, I'm like, yep,
right.
I know these guys. At the time, like when I joined, it was one guy that was in the band when I filled in for him back in the day. So I'm like, okay, I know this guy, and was in the band for maybe 6 or 8 months, and it was just we didn't mesh. Um, I just we never really had like we didn't have big issues with each other. It was just like, it wasn't for me.
Bandmate chemistry just wasn't there, kind of.
Yeah, and there was stuff like, before I quit, we were good. They were going to do a tour with Nile, and I was like, when are we getting together? I'm like, this tour is creeping up. Like, I need to know, like, when are we practicing? And one night, the drummers or the other guitar player is like, hey, can you get to um, Timmy's house tonight? And I'm like, at this point, he's asking me this at 10 p.m. and this,
Right.
this dude lives in Dayton,
Okay.
and which was hour and so
Yeah.
change. And it's like it's starting. We're gonna leave tonight, and I'm like, what? I have not packed. I have not
Right.
prepared. I can't just ask somebody to give me a ride right now.
Right. An hour away.
Yeah.
Like,
Um, and I was like, I'm done with this. Like, you guys can use my trailer for the tour. I can't do this. And sat for a bit, and then Andy, that was in Oceano, quit / was kicked out, and I saw like he posted that he quit because he was trying to save face. So I saw that and I was like, my old band played shows with them. This is something to do. And I messaged him, and Adam was like, he was getting on his MySpace to turn off messages because he's like, fuck, I'm gonna get flooded with messages because of this post on Lamb Goat. And he saw my message and he's like, oh shit, I remember you. Like, can you make some videos? And I did, and I got in the band. But it was one of those things where with Oceano, I didn't really listen to them much beforehand. Like, we'd played shows, but it was like I wasn't like I liked, I was an Acacia Strain fan. I liked some of like the like early deathcore stuff that was, stuff that you'd get Acacia Strain and Through the Eyes of the Dead and Red Chord and a lot of those bands that were like adjacent, whatever. Um, Oceano at the time, I was like, I just didn't. We'd played shows, but I was like, it. I thought Depths was cool, but it didn't like blow my mind. But I thought they were all talented, and I was like, this is again something to do. Um, I didn't know if it was going to be a fill-in thing or whatever, but I ended up joining the band. We wrote Contagion, and we had fun. But it was also one of those things where we sat on Contagion for too long after we released it, and I could see the ship starting to go down, and it was like, I had the opportunity for Acacia Strain, and I'm like, this is a band that's like been one of my favorite bands for years and years. I, at this point, am in my mid 20s, and I'm like, I have to keep making money. Like Oceano, we were finally like, we were making okay money for like a 24, 25-year-old in a band. But things were starting to like go down from where they were, and I'm like, that's not good. And nobody else in the band, like Danny was quitting, and if Danny was quitting, I was like, maybe I don't want to be here. And it was like the ship felt like it was sinking, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in the team we had behind us, what the direction the other guys wanted to go. And I'm like, I have this opportunity, I'm going to take it. And then first time I got together with Acacia Strain, it was like immediate, like it fit. And there was no like, it felt like this is the place I should have been a long time ago.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, and from Contagion to Acacia Strain, I mean, guitar-wise, it's not that big of a shift. Like I love that Contagion record. It's brutal as fuck. But
Yeah, and I think Contagion, like, it's a lot different from Depths.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Me and Danny were like very much on the page of like, hey, this last record was fine, but it's very like, Danny did a lot of the same. I was on the phone with him today, and he's talking about how like it was a lot of the same fills he did over and over, and it was very like bedroom deathcore kind of stuff. And Contagion was more like angry, and it was like we were really pushing ourselves to like, let's make something that's like sounds actually mad. And
yeah, you guys did it.
Yeah, it's got a push, I feel, that album.
yeah, we wanted to go towards the more like aggressive side of like the deathcore thing, where it was more like not necessarily like a death metal thing, but like more of those elements and more of the vibe that would come from like the more aggressive hardcore stuff, as opposed to just being like a lot of that older deathcore that was just breakdowns.
Yep.
Hey, JT's here. What's up,
There he
dude?
is.
So
Put my
now
glasses
your
on
other
so I can
project that you do, man, is it pronounced Grime Reaper? Is that
Yeah, which is now that's pretty much dead. Only because
it's cool though.
yeah, I had fun with it, but essentially it was a thing I started with Matt because I wanted to play music with Matt, and now he's in our band, so it's like the necessity to do that is like no longer there.
Right.
I mean, we might do more stuff at some point, but it's like I have so many things that I want to do that are just like that's like the very end of like the list of things I want to do. So it's like it's cool, but I'm like I have X, Y, and Z projects like that I'm working on that I'm like my ADHD brain is like, oh, this is what I have to keep doing this because if I stop, I'm gonna stop giving a shit about it.
Right.
So yeah, I've got like um I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got like a Doom thing I'm working on. I've got like a hardcore band I'm working on. I've got like a kind of like a synthy thing that I've been doing. Like there's like a fucking rock band, all kinds of stuff that I'm like, I'll probably never play shows at this.
and the guitar lessons you're doing.
Yeah, which
Uh, and you put a lot of content out through your Instagram, social media. I think like your some of your
yeah,
tech tips you were doing there for a little bit, and
yeah, I got to get back into doing that.
yeah,
So,
those are
like, I
good,
was
man. I
doing,
like the tech tips.
I like the Dungeons and Doom riffs thing I was doing, where it was just like rolling dice and being like, okay, I have to use this guitar, I have to use this plugin.
Yeah,
Nice.
But I got to do more of that. It's hard doing a lot of stuff with a 3-year-old.
yeah,
Oh, I bet.
yeah. Congrats on that, man. You're a dad and you're married, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great, man.
it really pinch harmonics are all we need. Um, and then Josh is adding more strings. I'm taking them away. He's got
Right.
9. I went back to 7. I'm like, get this surfboard away from me.
Oh,
I am I am getting a 9 string soon, hopefully, but
oh,
not like a dumb one. It's gonna be like a 6 string with the plain strings are like doubled.
No, you don't.
oh. So like a
JD.
12-string style kind of setup.
Yeah,
Okay.
but but all the wound strings are by themselves, and then the plain strings are all doubled. Can do some cool stuff with that.
Yeah. Sean and I both picked up 9s in this past year just to well, we both played 8s and then of course try the 9 out too, right? And it's a learning curve, man. I give Josh credit for writing stuff on the 9 man because he's unstoppable
Any
on it, but
anytime I've played one, which is like a handful, the thought in my head is like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever played in my life. Like your hand is like just doing this, and all of those higher strings are completely unusable.
Yeah, playing it.
Unless you're Josh Travis and you have your guitar tuned to like D A D A D E A D A like
right, it's like a
L
code
tune.
to Contra,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think it's like A D C 16 cent sharp C craziness.
I know in the Danza days he had there was one of the tuning was like Dada Dead.
Right, it's spelled out a word.
Yeah. Has
Josh
like
does,
any
and
guitars? We don't make guitars with enough strings, man.
That's one thing to play the guitar. It's
Also, I'm the artist rep. Hit me up. Come on.
right. Do some networking
My
here.
job.
That's one thing to play that guitar. It's another thing to make it sound like something. Because like when I first picked up the 9, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need EQ and EQ and more EQ. It's so much like low mid flub when you got all those thick ass strings.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to know how to get the tone out of it for sure.
Yes.
There's a tone in there somewhere. I'm gonna find it one day.
I'll never find it because I'll never play.
The low tuning, I think that's what does it for me though. It's like if I can hit a note and then all of a sudden there's a lower one and I hit that, I'm like, oh, like that's it.
I'm just like, I love that now I can just transpose something and be like, fuck, cool, it sounds good.
Well, and that's the thing, that is
Like there was when we did Europe, I played everything on a G sharp guitar and just transposed down to F for like those songs. So I'm like, I'm not gonna have multiple guitars. I'll just have this one and a backup of this one, and it worked.
right. Yeah, it seems to be going in that direction. I don't know if it's just me, like I've been seeing a lot of people just on the internet. Looks like they're picking up baritones or they're, which I get it, It's a little easier on the hand, the wrist. But
Yeah.
take a guy like Josh, half the time he's playing on the front side of the neck anyway. He's not even,
Pointing it at the ground,
right. Right.
playing it between his legs, putting his hood up and looking at the speakers.
They're
Kinds of good stuff.
they're supposed to be coming to our city here soon, I think. Sean, when's that show?
Yeah, they're playing with King 810, Filth, and there's one other band on that ticket. I just found out about it like 2 days ago, and I've
Is
always
it?
wanted to see King 810, and yeah, I'm
Is
gonna
that how
head.
they say it? I've always said King 810.
I don't fucking know. I don't
Is it?
know.
It's a Detroit area code or a Flint area code, isn't it? I think 810.
Yeah, it's the code for dirty water.
Tala, yeah, Tala's on it too.
Holla. Okay.
Just called King, he says. But yeah, Devin,
Josh,
did you ever play the Modern
Modern Exchange.
Exchange?
Yeah.
I figured you did.
I watched it. There was a band from the area called Kissy Face Fashion Faux Pas back
Oh
in the,
yeah, I've heard of that band.
and their bass player walked off stage during a sound check and broke his leg
Really?
and had to go to the hospital. And it was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know these guys.
Was that Rose Funeral Days or?
That was 1931. That was like 2007.
Oh really? Oh man, we probably crossed paths back then.
Probably.
We
Josh
played there a lot.
is Josh still playing with Amir?
Yeah. Yep.
I'll let Josh answer that. I believe so, right?
Or I think so.
Right.
He's
I just
he's bouncing around.
I just want to be like, what's up with your boy? He's on Twitter, like he's like, I'll defend Japan with my life, and I'm like, Frank, man, you don't need to do this.
Because I mean, yeah, just hasn't been out for a while.
Neither
Yeah.
have
Yeah. When's your guys' next show, Devin?
I. Christmas, and then I have a show with another band the week before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who are you playing with? Are you allowed to say?
I'm probably not allowed to say it yet because it hasn't been announced, but it is the final show of a band I used to be in with all the
Okay.
members of the band that were on a record I did with that band.
Oh, I know what it is. All right.
Yeah, it might have been me and Danny Turchin and Nick Concert and Jason Jones and Adam Warren.
Okay. That's cool, dude.
Um, yeah. So
That's really
that'll
cool.
be
Congrats on that. I'm glad you're a part of that.
yeah, it'll be fun. Get together with the old boys and see if I remember how to play any of these songs.
Yeah, we want to try to reach out to Adam. We were talking. So I was telling you about Once We Were Buried, and
Yeah.
you said you know Chris and Nate.
The
Um,
Barneses.
Yeah.
I haven't
but
talked to him in a really long time, but I remember I was like, Chris Barnes, that's like 6 feet under a Cannibal Corpse, but you're not
right.
that guy.
Yeah.
He used to have really big ears.
Yeah. Nate is in a. He's in a what? What would you call his band? He's in a band called Throne, but it's like Throne, like King Throne. And
Not thrown like tossed.
right. And I'm trying to think what style they are. You'd have to look them up. They're on the internet. But
The fuck is the internet?
yeah, right. Where was I going with that conversation? Oh, so we would like to try to get Adam on though, just because they were telling us that when they did that little tour with Oceano, that what a nice group of guys all those guys were, which the guys you're talking about. So obviously the things went shitty, and it sucks that there's collateral damage in the wake of it. But
Yeah, that whole thing too, like with because Adam doesn't really get invested much in like stuff going on, so he takes a tour, then he gets backlash for taking a tour because of stuff he just didn't know about, which is silly.
yeah, it
He
sucks.
handled it poorly by he could have just been like, all right, I didn't know about that, like we're out. But
Yeah.
he's like, we're breaking up because he's just tired of dealing with it.
Right.
Books whatever farewell tour, and that whole thing with the artist, from my understanding, it was he gave a guy like, this is what I want for this poster, for this design. Got a design, it wasn't it. He was like, and he gave somebody else the same idea that he had. Got
Right.
that with that. And that's a thing that happens all the time. He probably should have
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I'm not going to go
all
with
the
that.
time, all the time.
But then this guy's like, they ripped me off, and it's like, dude, it was his idea. Like it's also like it's a coffin.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not like
Uh,
it's not a crazy thing. Like he still paid somebody to do this. It's just like
I've seen that with tattoos a million times where an artist draws something up and somebody doesn't want it, it gets, someone else takes it on, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's
I look at that whole situation and like just the way it was handled and
he
how
handled it very poorly, but
yeah,
I also think that like
like he could
you
have
can't
reached
immediately going like making a big public spectacle about it. It's like all you're doing is making sure that nobody else wants to have you design anything for them.
yeah, and like he could have reached out personally to him or to the label. Like he didn't have to go. Yeah, I won't speak too much on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
man,
we're
it's so hard nowadays,
and I'm like I want for this final show, I'm like I want it to be like have an artist design flyers, make sure somebody gets paid, make sure there's no like we just whip this together, like
Hmm.
do it right, whatever. I'm not
Right,
supposed to announce the show, so
right.
pretend you didn't hear it.
Yeah, right. So have you been brushing up on that said band's material, or
No.
no? No, you're just
Um,
gonna wing it.
dude, the first time I ever played with Oceano was on stage with Oceano. I learned songs at home and I had to join like mid tour. And I showed up in Indianapolis after they got done playing and hopped in the van with them. And we went to Chicago the next day. And me and Nick played through a couple songs like acoustically on our guitars and then played a show at House of Blues Chicago. And my first time ever playing with any of them, including like playing with a drummer, which is incredibly important, was on
Right.
stage. So I'm like, it was immediately very high pressure situation.
Did it go well?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it went well enough that I was in the band for like 3 years.
So that's what you're gonna do this time. You're just
No,
hop
I'm
up.
gonna make sure I know everything. I'm gonna show up like the day before to practice once, but I'm like,
Dude, I'm
I'm
horrible.
like,
Like,
if I play badly, what's the worst that's gonna happen? We're gonna break up.
right. And I have this weird thing happen to where like certain bands that I've been in, I remember zero of any of the material, and certain bands I remember all of it.
Yeah,
And I don't know why. And one could be more like newer than the last band,
it's weird because my old band, like that I started back in the day, I can play every one of those songs.
right?
Uh, and then Oceano, like even the Contagion stuff, like there are some songs I could still rip through, but there's a lot of songs where I'm like, I don't remember this at all. Like
Yeah.
it was. And the same thing happens with Acacia Strain. Like I
Really, like
and it
earlier
comes
material.
well, dude, even the stuff on that's on the record that's about to come out.
Oh, right.
Um,
Because you,
'Cause we played it in the studio, we wrote in the studio, and then
right.
that's it. So when it's time to play stuff, like I have to go through and like relearn everything and be like, okay, cool, this is how it all flows together. Um,
Yeah,
it's
that's hard. I've been playing guitar with a new group of guys, and me and my other guitar player, we sit down and we'll do that. So like he'll track it. We're like halfway through a song, and then we get back together, and we're like, what did we do there? And we're trying to like turn the amp off, listen to the DI, like, oh, okay,
Yeah, I envy people that can use like Guitar Pro and like just put in all their tabs and stuff. Like I'm not that sufficient with that software yet, but I want to get there one day.
I'm not at all. Like
Oh, like what is that,
I
like sheets or yeah,
I used in the back in the day whenever I try to read tabs, they're always like very wrong.
yeah,
So I just started focusing more on ear because I'd learned something by tab and be like, this isn't doesn't sound right. So I had
right,
to
or it's in the
my
wrong spot.
ear training has gotten very good. But now if I have to look at something with like that's tabs, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like I can figure it out. But
Right.
usually like when it's like you start to get up to the higher frets where I'm like, 50, is that 15 or is that 1 to 5? What am I doing here?
Yeah, I get screwed up too. So what's the last you said you'll pick random songs and just learn songs. What's the last song you picked up?
Oh geez. Oh, geez, what was it? Because I haven't since I got home, I haven't really sat and played much, so it would be before the tour. Um, Probably, I want to say it might have been like a Stone Temple Pilots song.
Oh, nice.
Um,
The DeLeo brothers. They're badass.
yeah,
I
they've
just met Purple.
they do a lot of interesting guitar stuff. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
stuff.
Crazy.
Purple is such a good summer album for just like cruising down the road and like putting on like, Interstate Love Song and
I think I'm a fan of literally every single member in that band, like separately,
Yeah,
you know?
they're all sick, and like
Big Empty. Yeah.
that, first like big record for them, they, like drum wise, I know that they rented the Terminator snare from Drum Doctors, which is like the Tama bell brass snare from like '82. That's the snare that's on Black Album and
Right.
all like crazy records, but you hear it and you're like, that's a fucking like the snare on that record is just killer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they
Tama like
I like all their
re-released that
stuff,
snare and
man.
it's like $4,000. So I'm like, nah. I
Even
play drums as a hobby. I'm not buying a $4,000 snare.
no, I hear you. Yeah, I got a rock star back here. It's the entry level.
Yeah, I have wherever the orange is a superstar classic that I'm about to get rid of because I don't have space for it, and then I have a star
The finish
classic
is
that I
sweet
just
though.
got. Yeah, it's cool, but it's like a 7 piece, and I don't need that many drums. I like a 4 piece. Like drums was my first instrument, and since COVID, I've gotten like back into playing because I have space to play. Um,
Right?
it's drums are the hardest thing to play, like uh, when you're in an apartment or wherever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm in a duplex now, and it's like I just wait for my neighbor to be gone.
Right. I used to have a weird schedule where I like had a lot of days off during the week, and that's what I would do. I'm like, everybody's at work. This is the time I can play. Now I'm back to a weekend off schedule, and the kids are
You're like
home, or you know what I mean. It's just
that,
too
and
hard.
even like I try to be like mindful of neighbors. Like even if my my duplex neighbor wasn't home, like if it's like 8 o'clock, I'm not playing drums. It's got to
Right.
be middle of the day. Like you're supposed to be at work.
Right. Exactly.
My
Meanwhile, I
friend,
have a neighbor who fucking mows his lawn on like Sunday night at like 7 o'clock. Like my kid just fell asleep, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you
Right. You waited. Right. What told you this time was the perfect time to cut your
every week,
grass?
every week.
my friend Jeremy and
He
I
also
was
has the worst looking
trying to
lawn.
Right. Because he can't see it. Right. That's funny. So, how is the balance like with family life versus tour life? Like, do you feel like, because you've been touring a long time, so I'm sure you've found a way to make it work the
Yeah,
best way it can for you, right?
it's definitely rough. I think the last like since having a kid too, it's been like thankfully I'm not the only one in the band with a kid, so now it's like there's some understanding with like hey, we can't do a lot of like back to back stuff anymore, and also like we don't have to. Uh,
Right.
we're not like a young band anymore that has to grind 9, 10 months out of the year. We're
Right.
we can do a tour for like a month long tour or whatever, and then take 3 months off and have that be totally fine.
Yeah.
And the same goes for like putting a record out now. Like every record we've put out had besides Graveloom because there was just like we were changing managers at the time and like the marketing just didn't happen. But every other record has had a bigger response than the one before it and sold better. Um, and we're at a point now where it's like I trust that anything we put out is going to do well because we trust what we're writing and we believe in it and we're not just putting it out because like oh we got to put out another record. It's like oh we are always wanting to write. Like I'm already we like feeling the itch to write more stuff because we
Right.
recorded in like, March, so I'm like I got to write more stuff.
I'm
Um,
really loving the good new singles you guys put out. I was like, this is sick.
yeah,
You know
I'm
what?
happy with how it turned out, and I just so yeah, like being at that point, like we don't have to do like a record release tour as soon as we put something out anymore. Like we can put the record out, and I can be at home on my couch with my kid.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good, man.
it'll be fine.
And your kid, she's 3?
Yep.
You have a girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, does she, I mean, she's still pretty young, but I'm just curious how like the lifestyle of like her knowing what dad does for a living and
Yeah,
that'll come along though.
she doesn't quite like she gets it. She knows that data plays guitar and like she thinks for work data goes on an airplane.
Right.
And like she's been to shows, but she usually falls asleep by the time
Oh
we
yeah.
but she's seen sound check and I think she's kinda like,
Yeah.
what's this idiot doing?
It's gonna get cool, I think though.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause, like
this
at
is that.
home, I'll play guitar or whatever. I'll play like her little guitar and she's like, hey, stop. Knock that
Right.
off.
Yeah, I have 3 girls and my youngest is 9. She'll come down here when I'm playing guitar and get on the drum set and she can keep like a simple beat, like
Awesome.
just yeah, so I'm like, hey, if that's all I got out of it and the whole lifespan of their music career, I'm like success.
Yeah, she's already got a little like Ludwig kit,
Awesome.
those like Questlove, the
Yeah,
small
that's cool.
kits.
Yeah, I think you talking about the new album and having the itch to write and stuff. I feel like there's something that you guys do that the way Vincent patterns his vocals around the music, you guys create space, uh, if that makes sense at all. And
Yeah.
it really makes the song stick out. Like,
Well,
I don't know
that's
how
the
to
thing. Like,
describe it, you know?
especially since Slow DK2, we before that drums were always the first thing recorded because we were just writing everything in a room and being like, cool, here's the song. Now drums get recorded dead last. And
Oh,
the reason we do that is when we get together and we're writing in the studio, we're writing the drums, like we're programming everything exactly as we want them to be played. Like Matt writing his drum parts, programming them, Kevin writing his drum parts, and we're programming it in
hmm,
so that we can then record all of our parts. When Vincent comes to do vocals, when he's like, oh, this part, like if I made this line a little bit longer, or if I did this, or if the drums did this here, you can make that change still because you haven't recorded drums. So we can
right.
make changes with the programming. And then when it's time to record drums, like we can have everything much more like crafted to like fit around the vocals and have the vocals fit around the song better as opposed to just like, hey, here's this song, idiot, yell over it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
we had Nat from 18 Visions, and he said they were using that same process, and he said the same thing. Like they would use like a drum program for the structure, and then like the final touch be adding the drums,
Yeah.
which yeah makes lots of sense.
And that's how I write at home. Like I write everything I any guitar parts like I'm writing to a click and I don't fuck with drums until I'm done.
Right.
Because it'll kind of derail me. If I get to a point where like I don't have like I'm kind of like the tank runs dry, I'm like I'll go back and mess with drums a little bit. But typically I like I leave that open to interpretation like while I'm playing. Like this any kind of drum part would fit there, but if I start building it now, I'm kind of setting more of like
Yeah,
a funnel like the thing has to do this.
Yeah.
yeah. I find that like when I start with drums, I'll have a drum part and a riff, and they'll never go together, and I'll have to modify the drums in order to work. And yeah, recording to a click track that's at least you know everything that you record with a click track. It's gonna be in time, so it has to work like a drum beat.
Yeah.
So
So go ahead.
go,
Sorry.
uh, you go ahead, Matt. I just lost it. I had a thought and it just
So the release date for this album is it's coming up. It's
October 24th.
October 24th.
If that's a Friday, that's when it comes out.
So your Christmas shows will be the first shows kind of nice. So that'll
Yeah.
be cool. And that's 2 shows, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And typically, like what we're trying to do, what we did last year was 2 shows, completely different sets. Um, and yeah,
Nice, man. Yeah, I think it's getting heavier and heavier every time we hear it, man.
really
Just when we
trying.
think it can't be, right?
We try to do the same thing too. It's like every time it's like what's gonna make us go like what the fuck in the studio.
Right.
One thing
And
I
as long as we can keep doing that, like we will keep going.
one thing I noticed is the guitar tone. It sounds different from what you guys have done before, especially with I'm so sorry, I'm horrible with names, but the intro song we started with, uh,
Oh, holy moon.
holy shit,
How's it?
it's that has that guitar thing to it. That's just like, ah.
Yeah, we're always just trying new stuff in the studio too. It's like as much as like a 5150 and a dual rec of some sort usually make their way on the record. Um, like there's a Marshall JVM on there that's like overdriven really hard. There's there's so many different like pedals happening, and we try. It's like they change throughout the song, so it's like there's no part where it's like this is just the tone for the record. It's like this part has this thing going on, and this part over here has this drive going on. Um, so like each part, the record, like the tone breathes.
So you like
And then
automate your
there's some
effects.
there's some spots on the record too where like Randy, our producer, is using underneath like a part that's just like an F, like that kind of gets repeated. He's just playing an F on like like a low F on his Fender Rhodes through a bunch of pedals, so it's just adding this extra like just
Ambiance.
beef.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole automating effects thing. I didn't try. I don't have a Quad Cortex. I have a X effects, and trying to figure out like the CC code and like
It's a nightmare.
figuring all that stuff out. I'm like, I don't know. Gonna leave that to the professionals for now.
So you're in California. How spread out are you guys?
Uh, I'm in California. Griffin is in Des Moines, Iowa. Matt is in New Jersey, and then Mike and Vincent are in upstate New York.
You guys are all over the place.
All over.
That's so
But
cool that it
it's not
works
hard to
though.
get us together.
Yeah. No, that is cool.
Except we're doing like a listening party a couple days or maybe a week before the record, and I'm like, I'm not
Can't
gonna.
make it.
It's like a little like intimate coffee shop thing, and it's like I'm not buying like this close to it. I'm not buying like $1,000 round trip ticket to go and like
Right.
just do a hangout.
FaceTime, man.
Yeah. Last year, their last record, they did one, and I was like, just let me FaceTime in, and then it was like so busy, it was like it never happened.
Right.
I was
What?
at home,
Right.
I think Vincent like streamed it on his Twitch, so I was like in the chat, like, hey everyone.
That's funny.
Yeah. You won't hear this at your local Starbucks.
No.
Yeah, I see Vince on occasion. He'll be playing some games or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Twitch is cool, I think. For this purpose, for honestly, it's really grown into to its own, what do you want to say, entity, as far as the different things you can do on it, as far as whether it's promotion of something or just a hobby that you like to do. And
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
it's funny, like my kids they'll get on the phone with their friends and just walk around and do like life stuff. They don't speak. They don't
Right.
talk to the friend. They just keep them on the line.
It's crazy.
And it's kind of like the internet. Like you'll see people on here just, playing around on their computer, and they just turn the camera on and people are just like, you know.
People are chatting like with each other, but not with the person, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
some
it's wild.
Truman Show shit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you got the new album coming out, you got a good farewell show coming up, and then what's 2026 looking like for you guys?
Um, we might do hopefully some overseas stuff. We have a good support tour in the spring booked. here, but that's, can't say anything about that because that's not
Right.
on tour.
Right.
But seeing how the record does, and that'll kind of dictate some other things. But I mean, based on the response of the single so far, and like the work we're putting in, like with like videos and doing stuff we don't usually do, it's like I think it'll do all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, man, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate having you on, and
Hey, no problem. Thanks
it's
for having me.
Yeah,
it's
thanks
oh
for
man,
stopping by,
it's
dude.
been
That's
great
awesome.
like I said, it's hard to interview somebody that I've looked up to this band for way too long. So it's definitely our pleasure.
Thank you. I mean, dude, it still feels crazy that I'm in this band because I was and still am a fan. So
Right?
like, and I think that's the thing that's important too is like you have to be like a fan of the stuff that you're making. You have to
Yeah.
like what you're making, and that like shines through when people listen to it and be like, oh, they give a shit about what they're making. This record that they're gonna put out doesn't sound like a bunch of like guys around their 40s trying to like recapture their youth. It sounds like a unit of people that make heavy music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm happy with that. And Josh Travis, I love you and thank you.
I was
Yes.
talking
I hope we cross paths soon.
I hope you guys do too.
I mean, it's
And
destined to happen. He's all over the place.
oh yeah, for sure. You catch him at a Day to Remember show or Danza maybe, or who knows. But yeah, as far as everybody on the chat, follow Devin Shidaker at on Instagram, follow the Acacia Strain, follow the Metal Mitten, follow Heavy Music,
Yeah.
and
Listen to bands. If a band is coming near you and you don't have anything better to do, if you've never heard of them, go. You might find a new
yes,
favorite band.
definitely. All right, everybody,
All right, y'all. You have a
have a
great
good one.
night. Stay safe.
Devin, have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.